In today's world, every business has access to the same tools, the same platforms, and the same AI, but not every business gets the same result. What separates those who win from those who don't is not just what they do, but how they think. It's how they apply the right strategy in the right order at the right time with the right systems. So today, I want to walk you through what growth looks like when done right from our agency's perspective. Before we get there though, I want to talk about the three types of business owners that we tend to work with over the last 15 years at our agency. Type 1 is generally the business owner who has hit a plateau in the business. Generally speaking, they've already proven concept, they've been in business for a while, they've grown sales, maybe it's $500,000, $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, but then somehow things have just gotten stuck. They've had success, they're definitely not beginners, but their marketing results have fallen flat. They're feeling as though they're stuck in sort of an execution chaos, maybe content overwhelm, directional confusion. Generally, they've outgrown the model of just having a bunch of freelancers doing things. They have a team that seems to be really busy, but they can't really see the ROI. And they feel like maybe they're trying a lot of things, but now they're starting to become a little bit jaded about this digital marketing thing. And what they need is a clear intelligence system that reconnects all of the activity to strategic outcomes. The second type of business owner that fits into this conversation is someone who's in the middle of scale. They're growing extremely fast, or at least they want to. And their marketing engine is kind of breaking down right now under the pressure. They're kind of moving and stopping and moving and stopping. In their case, generally they have either a full internal team of marketers, or maybe they've worked with agencies in the past, but there's something wrong with alignment. Many times when we come in, there are 2 or 3 agencies that are already deployed, but there seems to be a lot of siloed activity happening. We'll also find that there's no CRM clarity. There's no CRM sitting in the middle of it all that tells everybody what's going on. There's poor follow-up, there's fragmentation, lead nurturing is sometimesy, and that's another one of the problems. Growth is actually happening despite marketing being broken, not necessarily because marketing is powering it. And what we find that they need is really a sophisticated step back, a rebuild of their strategy, and what we think of as a CRM-led decision-making process around their execution, so that the company that's growing fast are making decisions based on performance visibility and key performance indicators. The third type is that legacy company that we love so much. We love you, 20-year, 30-year-old companies. You've been around, you've stood the test of time. We love you, we respect you. You've done some amazing work. Your reputation is solid, your revenue is good, but something's going wrong with your online presence because maybe you didn't need it as much as you did in the past. You want to get back to that leadership position that you've held in the past. You value excellence in your credibility and your journey. And with us, what we've learned is you expect discretion, you expect real clear processes and systems because of the time and energy that you've put into building yours. And of course, you want real results. You're over those overnight tactics, those quick fix wins, and you really are looking for a strategic partner. And what we know for sure that those companies need that come to us is they need a sort of realignment with their brand positioning in the market, because somehow maybe online they've kind of fallen a little bit behind the radar with some of the young upcoming companies. We've got to regain that authority, that impact that you built your brand on. We got to build those conversion systems that are going to work for today, so that you have peace of mind that your business is going to continue to thrive as that legacy dominant company that it once was. So I want to walk you through our growth framework and how we break it down in each part. I want to just give you some examples of each. These are 6 pillars that we operate on in the core of how we do what we do. And this isn't theory, but this is how we put it in practice. The first thing has to do 100% with strategy. And while a lot of people throw that word out, our entire operational model is built on a strategy. An example of that is a $5 million service-based business that we helped recently double their lead flow by just simply repositioning their offer against their today's audience and their today's audience behaviors. Many of you don't think about the change in buyer dynamics in this ever-present digital world, this social media world, And now in this mobile first and AI optimized world. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, now we got to adapt to AI. Yeah, we do. We do. And so strategy really sits at the core of it. Many times, if you've been around our brand, you hear that we talk all the time that tactics before strategy is the noise before defeat, from Sun Tzu in the book of The Art of War. But I mean, when we had our office, it was posted on the wall. It meant that much to us. Strategy is not just writing down a bunch of ideas or spitting out something from ChatGPT. Anybody can get informational things to think about. But what's going to take it from thinking about this is what we're going to do, putting it into a strategic plan, and executing it? Step 2 in our model has to do with attracting the right visitors into your world, right? So I can think back to a professional services firm where we took their SEO presence, which was really where they were driving most of their traffic. We took their SEO presence tied to paid ads because today, as you know what's happening with Google, AI overviews are at the top, local search maps are being moved down the page, organics down the page, People Also Ask is up there, you've got Reddit and Quora and all of these other search engines and forum engines now populating the first page. Things on search engines don't work the same way as they used to. So we took their process, both SEO and paid ads, but more importantly, we narrowed in what we were doing with them so that it was only attracting their right buyers. What does that mean? That means that we're okay letting traffic go down, partly because Google's making it go down right now, partly because Google is starting to eliminate things that people used to come to your website for by providing instant answers in the AI overviews. But more importantly, the key is narrowing the content focus so that only the right people would see that content. Only the right people would search that content. And we'll find that out when we work with the strategy, because we'll start to figure out how your buyer talks about the problem, not just what they might search by way of a keyword. Okay. Once we get the right buyer showing up, the key is step 3 in our pillar process is how do we get that person to actually convert? How do we get that person to raise their hand and get them to take a step in your world? You know, I was talking to someone earlier, and the difference between attracting someone from a social media platform and Google, for example, is that the person from Google went there with intention to get an answer to a question, search for a product that they were looking for, or a solution that they needed to a problem that they currently have. But what's interesting is just because they come to your website, just because they saw your ad, just because they saw your website or blog post, doesn't mean they're going to hit your website and convert. You got to remember this. When someone goes to Google, they're going to see all of the people that are on Google, all the things I just previously mentioned. They're going to see 3 or 4 ads. They're going to see the local map pack if it's a local business. They're going to see People Also Ask questions. They're going to see forums like Reddit and Quora, and they're still going to see all of your competitors in the search engine. There's a lot going on. So if you get the click, you can't be lazy in the conversion, right? So step 3, I can think back to a retail operator that we had where they had about 14,000 visitors a month to their website, but their lead flow wasn't converting. We have a certain model of understanding what industries and what their conversion rates are going to be from website visits to conversion. And in this particular case, they were missing from an average conversion rate of 2 to 3% holistically on the site. They had enough traffic to where they were leaving at least $100,000 a month of missed revenue on the table. And now that's not easy to fix overnight, but that's the advantage or opportunity when you can identify how much traffic you're generating and how many opportunities are literally being missed because we just don't have a good lead generation model tied to the website. Step 4, pillar 4 in this process is the conversion process. So we generated the lead, now we got to get them to be ready to talk to your sales team. Just because someone reaches your website doesn't mean they're ready to buy. You know this, you've been around for a long time. For some reason though, we seem to think that people's offline behavior shouldn't work the same online. And when we do things like generate leads, generate ads, get all the traffic that we want to get online, we somehow forget that there's this process called follow-up, right? And so often we get too lazy in our follow-up. You know, I remember 20 years ago myself, when I was in the real estate and financial services industry, the mortgage lending industry, that it didn't matter to me when someone wanted to buy a house. It didn't matter to me when they were going to get the mortgage because I knew it wasn't something that was urgent that had to happen today. And in many cases, many of you sell something that doesn't have to happen today. Now, if you do sell an emergency-based business, that's a different part of your business model. But most of you sell something that is discretionary, long-term sales cycle. And many times we just have to come in and clean up that conversion process. We have to clean up that follow-up sequence. We have to clean up the automation. We have to clean it up and tie to the CRM so that we know that a hot prospect who landed on a very important page on your website just showed back up on your website. So many people we know that don't even use a good enough CRM that will tell them when their hot leads have re-engaged with their website. So it then sends a trigger to their sales team to reach out to that person. Instead, the lead shows up, they convert, they don't sign up for the sales call, and then they disappear into the yonder, right? The wild blue yonder. And then they wake up at 11 o'clock one night and come back to your website, and you don't even know because you don't have the right technology set up that would send a trigger notification to your sales team that, oh, Mike Smith, who landed on this high priority page, which is a page that might indicate they want to buy, you don't even know that they showed back up. And therefore, no one from your company reaches out to them, and Mike buys from someone else. So the conversion model has to do with email, has to do with follow-up, it has to do with notification triggers, it has to tie directly into your CRM so you can see when things are happening so that you know what actions should take place next. Step 5. Step 5 is one of those things where we think about after we've sold something, we think that great, we made a sale. Great, they're our customer. Great, they're on board. But the funny thing is we believe something that once they become your client, once they become your customers, now the time is to have them wowed by your onboarding, wowed by your experience, wowed by your output, wowed by your strategy and your solution. Because what we know is that when you have a happy client, a satisfied client, a client who is like, whoa, you blew my mind, they're going to be the generator of many, many leads for years to come in your business, right? And we all know the idea that if you see a bad movie and you go see it and you don't like the movie, you're gonna probably tell 10 people that it sucked. But when you go see a great movie, you might tell 1, 2, or 3 people about it, right? That's just the way it works in everything we do. So the goal is if we're only gonna get 2 or 3 referrals, even when we do a bang up job, but we're gonna get 10 negative reviews if we do a terrible job, we have to orchestrate this idea of delivering wow results and asking for those referrals. Studies show that it takes 5 to 25 times more money, time, energy, and effort to get a new customer than it does to take care of a happy customer, delight them to the point that they stay with you for a long time and refer you to others. You know, I'm very happy to say that I just got off the phone with a client who's been with us for almost 10 years, and he's just about to retire. And it is one of the most, it was one of the most proudest phone calls in our business history to have one of our clients who's been here 10 years, who's about to retire. And we laughed and joked that he's been saying he's going to retire for the last 3 or 4 years. But the fact is he's great at what he does. His business is great at what they do. And all he wanted us to do is keep his pipeline full. And we've been able to successfully do that for 10 years, almost on autopilot. Next, pillar number 6 has to do with systems. It has to do with packaging systems and tools and technology and people and processes so that we can multiply the effect of our marketing. You know, I can think back to plenty of clients that we've done this with where we've taken these disjointed approaches and we put it into a scalable system. Many times companies come to us and they're using multiple tools, they're using multiple processes. Everybody's not in congruence. You know, we made that decision many, many years ago when we joined HubSpot. And HubSpot, we became a HubSpot partner back in 2015. We've certainly seen all of the changes that they have done over the years. They've manifested from a automation tool to a CRM to a sales tool to all sorts. I mean, customer service related, website design. I mean, they've got it all. And it wasn't just that we wanted to work with HubSpot. It was because we saw the vision of them unifying a platform from customer information all the way through the lifecycle buyer's journey. Today, they even can do commerce, right? Whether you're on HubSpot or not is not the point. The point is you need a system and a set of tools so that everything is working together. If a sales call is made, someone in marketing should know about it. There should be someone who knows that if someone joined this email list based on this high priority asset, then somebody over here everything needs to talk. And that's what HubSpot offers us. But we're not just talking about tools. We're talking about team. We're talking about information flow. We're talking about dropping the walls of silos in our marketing engines. And so if you happen to be interested and you're not using HubSpot, we offer a free demo of the platform, of how we use it, how we integrate our systems, tools. You can even see some of the automations and systems that we set up, and there'll be a link down below in case you're interested in that. Every business we talk to is unique. Every business we talk to has its own set of challenges and problems and frustrations, but it's very funny how we map all 6 of these big pillars over all of our businesses, over all of our clients. And that's what we find out when we do our digital marketing diagnostics, our audits, our assessments. And the goal of those is to find out what's working, to find out what's not, and find out how and if we can bring our model to overlay it on your business to help it grow. So how do we help our clients grow? Exactly. Well, we do it in a couple ways. Number one, we know that not everyone is ready to partner with an agency, a strategic growth partner like ours. Maybe it's because you're not at that revenue level. Maybe it's because you already have inside team. Maybe you've got your own staff. And the thing is, you're probably wondering, does my staff even know exactly how to take us to the next level? You know, one of the things we see, and it's not a mistake per se, but you can look back on it and say, there's maybe a better way to think about it. And that is that many of our clients, they literally just hire the cheapest resource they can find because it just feels safe. And many times when you hire that cheap resource, by the way, cheap resource means it felt good on the paycheck, on the budget, but it wasn't necessarily the right strategic resource. What you find is that person doesn't have enough clarity, support, experience to get the job done. And so for that, we actually have created the Mindshift Inner Circle so that we can work with founders and teams, business owners who are doing their own internal marketing, but they need the guidance, they need the support, they need the execution plans proven over 500 plus clients to the tune of $300 million in revenue. And so if that makes sense and that's your scenario, there'd be an invitation down below for you to check out our Inner Circle and become a member and work with us a couple of times a month on your campaigns, your strategy, and your solutions. But for those of you that are really wanting to get a set of engineered plans for implementing an entire growth system, one that we've kind of talked about and laid out here today, then we offer a couple of different ways to engage with us on a more deeper level. Number one are our growth sprints. Now, we built a model years ago called our growth sprint model, where we work with clients on a 3 to 4 month basis of execution with very specific KPIs after we identify the strategy, after we identify the playbook that we're going to execute. And we sit down at the end of 120 days and we look at the growth of our sprint during that time period. That's one option. That's for those people that are not yet serious to go all the way in with us, but it gives us a way to work together on a short-term engagement to solve a very specific problem in a very specific time frame, and it works extremely well. The other side of it is if you really know that you're ready for a strategic partner to take you to the next level, then of course that's what our agency is built for. That's what our firm is built for. We'll start with you, have a conversation, we'll do the diagnostic, we'll build out the plan, and we'll look at what the next 1 to 2 years could look like for your business. No matter which level you're at, no matter which problem that you might have faced, then it all starts with this digital growth diagnostic, which is a simple conversation rooted in strategy, rooted in data, rooted in your past energy, rooted in effort. And let me be clear, it's rooted in 100% empathy, because I realize right now, there is no clear roadmap right now with everything going on between what's going on with Meta and TikTok and Google and email filtering, spam numbers, Apple's involved. There's all kinds of things going on. We are living through right now one of the most transformational shifts in digital marketing right now, and we just need to do that together. So if you're ready for that shift, then let's have a conversation. You can see the link down below this video or visit mindshiftdigital.co/plan to request your digital growth diagnostic. Again, it's a very simple conversation where we will help you gain some level of clarity so you can see your path of growth clearer when we're done. My name is Daryl Evans. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time.